What's up, everybody? It's Kristen Smedley, film producer, coming back to you for Filmmaker Friday. It has been a hot second since I was here with Filmmaker Friday this summer. It is summer. I've got kids home from college and kids home from the work world, did some traveling, and as we are going to talk about today, an unexpected challenge happened this summer, which actually is what set me back a couple of weeks on this. But we are jumping back in. Actually related to that unexpected challenge. Today we're going to talk about catching everybody up, where we're at with the film Curveball, which I'm just realizing that my microphone is in the way of the portrait behind me of the team involved in Curveball. So we are going to figure out our props and all of our backdrops later. Today I want to catch up on everything. We're going to talk about the next big thing that we're tackling for this film, and of course give you the story. Gosh, it's like it's an incredible story to reveal with you of the challenge that we experienced the past couple of weeks. But at the same time, I think you're just going to love, I know you're going to love this part of the story in the film. And gosh, it's going to be a hard one to talk about today. That's why it's taken me a couple of weeks, but bear with me on this because I know this is a great space to be able to share this kind of stuff with you. So let's dive into this week's Filmmaker Friday. And my kids still can't stand that I say it that way, and I don't care. Listen, this might be a very short episode, or we may continue this because we could very well be losing power soon. It's been blinking for a while, and I think that, I chose the right time now that we have a little bit of window where I saw a little bit of sun in the sky as we are getting, I'm in the Philadelphia area, for those of you that know and have followed this and my journey, and we are getting hit with the remnants of that hurricane or tropical storm or whatever. I need my weatherman Mitch here, and he's out for the day to tell me what that was. So anyway, here we go with this week's Filmmaker Friday. Okay, so where are we at with Curveball, the incredible film that will tell the story of why I have an orange baseball hat with a letter N on it means nothing about Philadelphia sports or any of my loves, except for the fact it stands for Northampton. This is actually the hat from the baseball team that my Michael was on that is the key story being told in this film. Remember, we've got a parallel story. We are going to get into that in the weeks ahead. But mainly, Curveball centers on the fact that my son was born blind. The first question I asked the doctor, will he play baseball? Of course, the answer was no. And then 9 years later, there was my kiddo wearing this hat and uniform on the baseball field, took the team, was part of being a catalyst for the team going from the Bad News Bears to winning the championship in extra innings. And he, the blind kid on the team, led the team in RBIs. It's a magnificent story that we will unveil the elements of the journey as we go through this journey of bringing a film into the world together as we do this with Filmmaker Friday. So where are we at with Curveball? So far, the producer's in place. That's me. The director is in place, that we are actually putting this to get out into the world together. Ken from Shadowbox Films and me have known each other for years and knew that this is a story that will change the world. So that's in place. The screenplay, you guys, the screenplay is in this binder in front of me, and oh my gosh, if you could see the biggest journey of your life in print and envision it on the big screen, I don't even know how to describe it, but one of these weeks I'm going to have to find the words to describe this because it is absolutely unbelievable. Hold on, I got to move this stuff out of the way. Okay. And all right, so that's the screenplay assignment. I'm going to be reading a piece of this today that has to do with the big reason, the big topic for today in a hot second. Okay, in my notes here, also the soundtrack is in development. The soundtrack. You know me and my family and all of the musical stuff that we have all over, and all of the performance gear and all the things we've always done with music. Of course, we're going to have a kick-in soundtrack with this film. I can't wait to reveal who's doing that, the team, the star of the team, and how we know that mega star and are friends with that star and the entire family. That's going to be super fun. So, all those things are in place. Big ones, screenplay. Oh, and the budget. The budget for the film. Had no idea how much goes in to the line items of a budget. And for all of you that look, I started out as a math major in college. My kids found that out the other day. The amount of laughter that went on, I think it's kind of not cool. Whatever. I was really on top of things before I had 3 kids and 2 dogs and took on all this stuff. Anyway, let me tell you a little bit about the budget. For all of you that are into numbers like I used to be and love all the analytics and line items, and hey, what's up, all of you guys? I can't wait. I'm so excited to see people tuning in from all my different platforms. When will the film be released? Well, first we are in the next level for production, which I'm gonna get to in a hot second here of where we're at with that. But thank you for all those questions. And there's many exclamation points in the comments so far on LinkedIn and Facebook on this Friday. Thanks, everybody. So anyway, so all of you that are into like spreadsheets and line items and numbers and all the things, you're going to love the episode about the budget. The rest of you, maybe we'll do it later on a Friday so that we can just start pouring some wine. And some of you may require some bourbon to go through all the numbers, but holy smokes, are there some numbers and line items involved in putting this production together? And now I understand. When I was telling Ken, my director, I'm like, oh my God, we can do a scene here and then a scene on this field. And then we could be at this coffee shop. And he was like, wow, that costs money. Okay, forgot all about that. I'm like, can't we just like build sets in places? Anyway, so that'll be super fun for all of you numbers folks. And actually for everybody that has already donated and sponsored and is connecting me to some mega investors and funders, it's very helpful for all of you to see just where all of that goes and where the investment goes to be able to tell a story at the level that I want this story to be out in the world, because it is literally a life changer and we want to do it on a mega way, in a mega way. But of course, I could also have a show called Frugal Friday, because I've learned in running 2 nonprofits how to be incredibly productively frugal. So there you go. Also, oh gosh, I got to put the link in. If I could actually, maybe I can do this. I think in the description of this video, here we go. I'm putting it in the comments, I think. I'm still working with this program. In the description of this video, hopefully on most platforms, as well as in the chat for those of you that are watching live, you'll see the link to go to the Share Fund, a new crowdsourcing platform that actually you can earn cash by being a promoter of the film right there in Share Fund. So don't go there yet. Listen to the rest of the updates and then get that out there. Make sure you go in there, donate whatever you can. And there's merch now that I'm hoping that my merch that's listed there, all of my samples will be arriving soon, so then I won't have the Northampton hat on, because we have to like save this thing, and it'll have the merch on. Okay. So that was an update that we've got the budget done. Okay, so now let me just go right into, since we're talking funding, and I just put that oh, it's Friday, that link in for Share Fund. So the next financial step, I don't like to say hurdle or challenge, the next financial step is, as you'll see on Share Fund, is $50,000. There's several different reasons that it is that amount of money, and I know that that's aggressive, but this is right now $1 million budget for this film. So the things so everything is, I'm telling you, people are like, how are you raising this money? Like, what are you doing? And I say, praying. Like literally, I'm doing affirmation mantras. I have been praying on this for, you guys, 10 years. And the simple prayer is that as each next level needs to be achieved, everything falls into place. And so far, the funding for the unbelievable screenwriter came into place. Even a first try at a different screenwriter, that funding was there that didn't work out. And we've moved that person over to a different role, which is going to be absolutely phenomenal. But every piece of the funding that we have needed along the way has landed, has come into play. And really, it's a testament to my community here on all these social platforms, my community here in my town that was the catalyst to not only my boys being baseball champions, but also being insanely successful in the public schools, as well as my first nonprofit achieving unbelievable heights that will be in this story as well. So everybody can see you literally can go from crying on the couch to asking for help to praying for the strength to achieving incredible things. So all of the funding has landed in place so far. So I am confident that the funding in the share fund crowdfunding will come to fruition quickly. And the more you all share this and the more you all connect me to folks that can help with it, the faster we get underway with our filming and then releasing it into the world. But okay, so let's back up into the next step. So this is the one that has been such a challenge for me to be able to come on here, especially live, and talk about this facet of this film and what has happened in recent weeks. So let me back up for a hot second. When when we got serious about getting a screenplay and this is actually a script that's in front of me now. I'm going to figure out one of these days. I'll have some people on in the biz to talk about the difference in those words and the different elements. But essentially, we've got the screenplay and the full on script for this. And when we finally got the most extraordinary talent to put this screenplay and script together, we being a team of people here in my town with my director Ken, we went to his offices, and my son Michael had flown in for something, I forget what it was, and we all, maybe it was over the holidays, we all got together and just riffed a conversation of, like, I think it was like, I don't know, an hour and a half, 2 hours, and we filmed it just with an iPhone, just to simply have it documented. Like, Ken was just asking all kinds of questions to be able to put this story together from an outsider's point of view, right? Asking Michael questions about navigating life, being unable to see, plus then the baseball team asking me questions as a mom, like all the things, right? So we recorded that. Then I had a couple of Zoom calls, and when I had a couple, I think it was only two, with Rolf and with Ken. Rolf being the screenplay writer. And then weeks later, he sends me the first draft. And when I tell you, I don't even know how to explain seeing so much of your life, your journey, the hard stuff, and all of the good stuff, like that whole journey from diagnosis to championship game and some other accolades that are in it that we achieved. It was unbelievable to me to see how somebody can take all of your real and raw and put it in this most extraordinary story. What that was mind-blowing for me. But the most mind-blowing for me is the fact that I had mentioned in a couple of different conversations about how I just found it, I still find it kind of hilarious. At first, I found it hilarious that one of my uncles, one of my closest relatives, one of my most favorite people on the planet, my Uncle Bill, is actually a priest. And he never, from I don't even think from the time I was born, hasn't lived right here in Philly. For the most of my life, I believe he was always in Virginia. And I just always remember going, and I mean, he'd come home for holidays. Look, let me tell you something. Having a Catholic priest in your family is so great for the lazy ones, because we would be able to, like, we were all just at the beach. And whenever we go to the beach, my whole family goes and everything. And my Uncle Bill would come. You didn't have to get up and go to church. You could literally be in your pajamas, roll out into the living room, and he would host mass right there in the living room. And he always did our family baptisms, the weddings, all the things, right? It was always Uncle Bill. And all of my friends knew Uncle Bill. I mean, he's probably one of the most smartest people I have. He's not probably, he may be the smartest person I've ever met and hung out with in my life, but at the same time, hilariously, sarcastically funny and dry, just like this cool person. And although he lived several states away and it wasn't like we spoke every week, when all of this happened, it was like when Michael was diagnosed, it just so happened that my Uncle Bill was in town for something, right? And then when I started the Curing Retinal Blindness Foundation, he just so happened, I think we were at the beach. I don't know. But he he's never lived right here in my backyard, but there have been major things in my life that I really just needed somebody smart and real, and of course, a foundation in faith to run some things past. And he was just there for some of those moments, right? And to not watch, to read that in this screenplay, in this script, the way my Uncle Bill is captured in it, I know that I have to find the words for it, and I've been trying to find the words for this for about 4 weeks now, and I don't have them yet, but I promise I will at some point. But the way that he is represented and his role in this journey that was consistently rising, even though there were some bumps and hits and sucker punches along the way, but a consistent rise into the greatness that my son and I and everyone involved were destined to have with this story. It was extraordinary to see that on the pages. And I could not, I mean, ever since it happened, when I started reading it, I'm like, oh my God, I can't wait for Uncle Bill to see the interpretation that he can really understand the impact that he has made on my life, and especially my Michael. Oh my gosh, they were like they just watching them speak from when Michael was like 3 I mean, here's this accomplished, I mean, traveled the world, spoke multiple languages, and a brilliant man having a conversation with a 3-year-old about a pantry with 4 doors, which was at my parents' house at the time. Things like that were just hilarious fun, and they were always in awe of each other and always giggling and laughing from the time Michael was little. So you can imagine then, just a few weeks ago, we were all at the beach at our favorite beach of Sea Isle City, in South Jersey, not far from here, in Bucks County. Um, and our very first night there, we got the extremely unexpected news that my Uncle Bill passed away. And my very first thought was, gosh, if only I could have gotten this film into the world sooner and he could have seen, right? Seen right there the story of the impact that he's made on just 2 of us, right? Just me and my son Michael. And then the ripple effect of that impact of just some advice that he gave me and connections that he made for me. And I thought, gosh, you know, oh, of all the blessings on this journey, like, where's the blessing in that? And I was so wallowing in the fact that I hadn't gotten this thing done sooner, and all the dead ends and hurdles and all the things that have been in the way of us wanting to get this out into the world, until now, that I'm not taking no for an answer. It's just getting into the world because the world needs it. And he'll never get to see it. Of course, that was a couple of days of feeling sorry for myself, and we were all ourselves, while we were at the shore. And then it was interesting because halfway through the week, then we all started saying, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. That is so not the lens that Uncle Bill would look at this through, right? He always looked through a faith and fun lens, or one or the other. And we started to say, gosh, how lucky, first of all, are we that we were all together when we got that news, right? That would have been a hard thing for my mom, who's my Uncle Bill's sister. That would have been a hard thing for her to have to make all the phone calls and all to come into one central location to be together. So it just so happened that we were all together. And then I was still struggling throughout the week about this film, and he won't be able to see it. And then I thought, oh my gosh, you know, I know how things have happened on my journey, and I know the heavenly folks, the angels on my side that have moved mountains for accomplishments that the entire world said were impossible. And I thought, well, now we really, I mean, I've had Uncle Bill on my side this entire journey, and now the journey of the film and all the things to come for me, my kids, and so many in this community. Um, I'm taking a lot of comfort and joy in the fact that we've got Uncle Bill now as an angel on our side, moving mountains to get this story told. I mean, there is still that element of, oh, that was a hard blow that he's not going to be able to see it with us, to be, literally physically here with us to see this film come to fruition. But like I said, I know that he's helping to move mountains for this, and I know that we're on a path forward to get it out into the world. So I wanted to read just pieces because I don't want to share the entire. This was actually just the draft of the screenplay. It's not the full thing because in a different place in my office that I cannot move because I am famous for moving something and then I can't find it, and I need that later on today because I'm working on something. Um, but there's this scene where I was frustrated, and for those of you that know the journey of this, and being raised in a strong foundation of faith the way that I was walking away from faith after that diagnosis, because my thing back then was, what kind of a God does this to little kids, right? What kind of a God allows these and horrific things to happen for kids? I've since come back, and my Uncle Bill was a huge factor in that. My Uncle Bill never said, "No, no, 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 you can't walk away from the faith." No, no, no. And he was like, "I'd be mad too. I'd be mad. I'd be questioned. You keep doing that. You keep being angry. Keep asking those questions." But he also told me to keep my eyes open and look for answers, not necessarily the answers I was looking for. He actually says one of the lines is once you know what the problem is, the solution will appear. My advice is to look, but don't look so hard. And I remember those conversations that he and I had, like I said, about, don't be looking so hard for the answer that you want to be there. If you know this story, you know that for 3 years I prayed blindness away, and every single night, like literally every single night for 3 years. And for 3 years, every single morning, I was pissed off that it was still there. Like I was wanting it so hard and looking for all the signs that blindness was going to go away, that I was getting more and more frustrated, more and more upset, and walking further and further away from faith. And then finally, my uncle and I had a conversation one time, and I said, I don't know whether to just pray for acceptance and deal with it and sit on the sidelines of a life that I thought I was supposed to have, or if I should be praying for a miracle, that something huge is going to change here. And my uncle said, pray for the miracle. Never stop. Never stop praying for the miracles. But then he also had the follow up conversation of, you have to be willing to accept that those miracles are probably outside of what you're thinking they're going to look like. I mean, you guys, look at my journey, right? Right? When I stop seeing blindness as a battle, and stop seeing blindness as a burden, and stop seeing, my dreams for my kids extinguish, and just opened up my eyes to what their dreams might be and what their journey might be and all that could be, there's the miracle. And it's been like miracle after miracle after miracle, not only with this film, but with my work. And oh my gosh, my kids and the stuff that they're doing in this world. It is literally, it's not even, I mean, what's the expression? It's nothing short of a miracle. It's dozens, gajillions of miracles, right? It's way more than just one thing. So that's the story. That it's been a little hard. Thank you for bearing with me on a little bit of this gibberish. Today it's been a few weeks that in the making that I've been able to share just a little bit about my Uncle Bill. If you look on my LinkedIn and my Facebook, and I believe on Instagram also, go scroll back a little bit. I'll reshare them this weekend, but I put some posts out there, just a couple of things about my Uncle Bill, and he's just like that unlikely source of incredible motivation and inspiration. And as I talked about on LinkedIn, especially connection. I mean, he just He made one connection in the beginning of this journey of my nonprofit Curing Retinal Blindness Foundation that was in the top 3, if not the top 1 connection that sent this mission into the stratosphere. And he simply said, "Hey, I've got this guy in my parish that I talk to, and I think his work aligns with yours. Can I connect you?" So, I know I'm on here saying, please donate to my film and share it. Who can you connect me to make sure this film keeps moving along? But honestly, take a look at your network, read people's posts with a lens of what connection do they need? What connection do the people that you follow and that are in your world need that you might have? And then how can you provide that connection? And let's keep that one facet of my Uncle Bill's extraordinary legacy moving forward. So, thank you all so much. Thank you all for tuning in. Faye, good to see you. Cynthia, good to see you too. Thank you all for your comments, your love, your cheers, and stopping me in the supermarket and at other places here in my town to talk about the film and the excitement for it. Everyone that is local here in the Bucks, Montgomery, Chester, and some of South Jersey area, watch for the campaign coming out throughout the next couple of weeks. There's a few sponsor levels that are only available to local businesses to be involved in the one of the biggest scenes of the film. We'll be sharing all of that. So thank you all so much. Continue sharing. Listen, have a great weekend. Stay dry if you're on the East Coast. Stay safe. I'll see you next